Do you have a lot of fabric scraps like these? Teeny tiny pieces of fabric that are just too small for most projects? If your answer is yes, then please keep watching. I'll be making some interesting embellishments for my journals. Hi everyone, it's Dragana from Saacibo. Welcome and welcome back to my channel. Small pieces of fabric. Oh yeah, they've got a potential. I can do something. I'll do a collage. I might need that color. I'm gonna keep it. Who knows, I might need it. If I throw it away, I'll be sorry. Do you think like that? That's how I think. And I ended up with a box full of little pieces like these. This project is basically making sense out of chaos. This is what I've been doing. Cutting up those small pieces into circular shapes and running them through the sewing machine to create little decorations for my journal. Side decorations. They can be used as belly bands as well, I suppose. So they're the ones that I've done with the round shape. Then I've tried some with squares, like this. And I really like those. And from there, I just went on to create something like these. And I really love these. Okay, they would look great in a nature themed journal. And then I made a few of the smaller ones. I got this idea from my friend Daniela. She makes beautiful, beautiful journals. She's very talented. You can see the name of Daniela's Facebook page. I will also leave the link in the description box below. And I've seen this in a lot of her journals. She would make these decorations with paper. She has a punch in that shape. She would punch all the scraps of paper and create a decoration for the journal. So I wanted to take her idea and maybe apply it to fabric. And even if I had the punch in that shape, I wouldn't be able to cut the fabric with a punch. Anyway, I want to show you how I make these. And I'm going to share a few tricks on how you can do this quickly just with some scissors and some masking tape. And lots of little scraps like these. Let's make one of these together. For that, you will need a round punch, 1-inch circular punch, and you just need a piece of cardstock, can be recycled, and you're just going to punch out one of these and use it as a template. If you don't have a punch, you can trace around, for example, around your glue and then cut it with your scissors. It's fine, it doesn't have to be precise. This is just going to be your template. And you'll need scissors like these, pinking shears like these, or one of these. Okay, and I like to attach these to a strip of paper. So any kind of paper that you have, some offcuts, you just need one strip. And I probably have too much here, so I'm just going to cut this in half like this. And you also need some masking tape. If you have a wide one, it's going to be easier. If you don't, you just use this one and add 2 strips perhaps. I'll just show you with this one. I find that when I work with scraps like these, sometimes it's hard to actually make something that looks good. You don't want 20 different materials there unless they really go well together, and that's going to be hard. So I suggest choose 3 or 4 the most. And then if you're going to do 3 fabrics, you need to cut 4 of each. If you're going to go with 4 fabrics, you're going to need to cut 3 of each, basically. Choose fabrics that go well together, I would say, because you'll end up with too many colors and it will be hard to actually fit it into a journal unless your whole journal is in that kind of style where anything goes. Anyway, this is how I've been doing this. I would grab a fabric. This is a soft fabric, really thin. And if I was to cut that and glue that over here, it wouldn't look good. So I just take masking tape and place it over the fabric. Okay, just like that. And this is the face, this is the back. So you put the masking tape on the back and it's going to stay there. We're not going to remove it, because if we do, fabric might start to fray and you'll end up with a big mess. I don't mind fray edges, but for this type of project, it looks better if it's kind of neat. And then you take this, and you don't even need to draw it or anything like that. You just place and make sure you have enough around. Take your scissors. I'm going to take these ones. I'm just going to cut that off. Hold it like that, and you just go around. And you basically just try not to touch your template, the circle. And when you stop, you just continue, so that these little kind of like flower petals look all right. And you'll probably end up with one that it's not really perfect, but it doesn't really matter, because when we place it like this, the one that comes over, it's going to cover that part anyway. So that's how you do it. Let's do one more in this color. Okay, it's just so easy, and it's perfect for those little pieces of fabric. All right, let's cut one of these, and you just keep cutting until you have enough. I find that usually it's about 12 of these for one A4 size page. You can certainly have less, or you can have more and kind of place them more densely. That's something that's up to you. I think I have enough. I've got 4 of each, and these are the colors that I want to use. Okay, so what I do now, I basically just add a little bit of glue stick to hold it in place, because I'm going to take it to my sewing machine. If you decide you don't want to do the sewing, you would have to use a stronger glue, something like acetone based glue. I just start placing these. I start somewhere there at the top, and I just go like that. Okay, I might have to keep adding more glue because it's going to dry. You can add some on the fabric as well, like so. And this is not going to hold properly, but it doesn't really matter because we're going to take it to the sewing machine once it is dry. I'll just put this over. Okay, and then you just keep repeating that same pattern. First, second, and the third color. You just keep repeating that. So after pink, we have this one. And then you check if it moved a little bit, or if one of them doesn't sit properly. You can still adjust, because this is not a permanent gluing. This is just to hold it in place while you're sewing. But before you take it to your sewing machine, you really need to leave it to dry, because if you don't, you're gonna mess up your needle. It's gonna get really kind of dirty, and it will collect a lot of that glue and it will be difficult to clean up afterwards. So I'll put this aside while I show you the other two examples. Now I want to show you how to make this, and you can put them straight or just rotate them like this or like that. That's what I've done here. Put them like that, or you can even alternate between round and square, but we'll just do this version and then you can experiment further. Now here I also used a strip of paper. Okay, this is just the same size as journal page, or even a little bit smaller, because I overlap on top and bottom. And this is because later on, if I make it too big, I would have to trim it, and then I don't know if that's gonna look good. So I'd rather make them the right size from the start. And again, I have some fabrics here that I already cut just to save time. And first I picked this fabric, and then I went through my stash and looked for fabrics that actually go well with this one. So I found this blue and this kind of ochre and red, and I think I have enough, but I just need to cut one more blue. And again, I'm going to add this tape. Okay, and here's my template for the square. 1 1/4 inch. 1 1/4 inch. You can certainly make it larger or smaller, so that's 3 by 3 centimeters. I just place it there. I go like this, close enough but not too close to cut the template. And if they're slightly different in size, it doesn't really matter. I'm not aiming for perfection here. So that's how you do it with squares. And then again, you apply the glue here. And you start. Let's start with red. I think I'm going to do like that. And then a little bit here. So what color should we do that? Well, yeah, I think so. And then you just keep going. Because these are larger, I might need less squares, but never mind, I can make 2. If I cut too many, that's all right, as long as I have enough. So that is it. Again, I need to leave that to dry before I take it to the sewing machine. And now I want to show you how I made these. This was a lot of fun, and with these ones I was able to use even smaller pieces of fabric, really just like thin strips. Now let's have a look what I have here. Here are the fabrics. You can even use thin strips like these. And when I've done the first 2, I made myself some templates just on cardstock. I just drew some leaf shapes. And then I thought I'll just cut leaves. It's so easy, and I've been cutting and cutting. As you can see, I have a lot. And for the centerpiece, I used this brown fabric. I haven't got one that's in one piece, but I have this darker green. It doesn't have to be brown, it can be green. And for that one, first I would test the height. Okay, so I need that much. And then I would put the tape here. I did not use paper strips. because I have fabric, I'm just adding the tape so that it's a bit more stable. Okay, and here you don't have to even cut it straight. You can make it a little bit wavy if you wanted to make it look more like a stem or a branch. Okay, or you can start wider and end up narrower at the top. Again, it's totally up to you, but I kind of been making them like that. And then I was cutting the leaves. Here I've used 3 different fabrics, light, kind of really light pale green, this bright light green, and this darker one. If you wanted to, you can use browns and oranges as well, and I have some here. Okay, and I think I want to use this dark green again, and I've been placing the tape on the back of these as well. It's just a lot easier to cut, and once you cut it and put it in your journal, it's going to stop it from, you know, fraying or falling apart. So that's it basically. Now you can draw yourself some leaves here, and you can go bigger and smaller. I've been making them like this. These are like 1 1/4. Then I have some that are 1 1/2. Just, you know, freehand. It's easy as, you don't really need a template. Just like that. Just draw yourself some leaves. I'll just use this pen so that you can see better. Actually, when I was doing it, I wasn't even drawing. I would just take my scissors and start cutting, but I want you to see. Okay, and I think it's better if they're not all the same. It will just give a nicer finished look if you have a bit of variety. So I'll just cut it just like that. I think we have plenty. Before we start adding those, I just want to show you the difference between those here. I was going like this. I would start here, go there, come back here, lift this up, go all the way here, and then here and here again, lift this up and go there. But it took me a while, and it is a nice effect, but it takes a bit longer and a bit more effort. Now here and here, I just went straight, and by doing that, all the leaves were caught with the thread. Here too. And then I had some flowers that I cut with my scissors and die cuts, had them for like ages, and I just glued them with hot glue on top just to make it a little bit more interesting. That's optional, but I really like this one, so I'm gonna do one like that, and then you can experiment and add maybe flowers or whatever you want. And I would usually put larger leaves down the bottom and then work my way up. So just select some larger ones, and it's nice to have 3 colors. For example, if you just have light and dark, and then you'll end up with either one side with light, one with dark, or if you go like this, you can have 2 and 2. What I like about this, because it's odd number, it gives you this effect. It just looks more fun anyway. So I'm just going to add a bit of glue here. I'm going to start like this, and then I'm going to go for that. Where's the big leaf? whatever you're doing, you have to make sure that each leaf touches this central part, otherwise it's going to fall off, or the machine is not going to catch the leaf and it's going to fall apart. So what do we have after this? We have this one. And you see, when you have three colors, for example, this color is going to be on this side once and then on that side next time, and so on. So after that we have a dark green. And then we have the lighter green. Okay, and after that we have the dark green. The dark, we have the light one again. That is probably enough for that one. We can leave that for another one. And the same applies here. You need to let that dry before you take it to your sewing machine. And I'll just wait maybe half an hour, make sure it's really dry, and then I'll show you how I stitch them. I'm at my sewing machine and I like to start with this end, because if I was to start here, I would constantly run into problems with these things. It's best if it's like that. And I place the foot in the middle and adjust the needle in the middle. You can use straight stitch or zigzag stitch, it's totally up to you. When you start, you need to go back and forward a few times to secure it. When you get to the end, you have to secure it as well. Check your needle to see if there's any glue. If there is some glue buildup, just use wet wipe to clean it up. You can also put a little bit of machine oil between your fingers and just go like this over the needle. It will stop the glue from sticking to it. We do the same. We start from this end. And here it doesn't matter which side you start, it's going to be the same. You place again this in the middle. And you just go. That's the final look. It's quite straight on this side, but it doesn't really matter. You would apply glue here and then glue it onto your page. I think I weird a little bit with this one. As you can see, the thread still went over all the pieces, so it's not going to fall apart, even though here it just went on the side. So maybe this paper is going to be a little bit loose. You could tear these off and have just these pieces. It might become a bit more flexible and a little bit loose. I think these strips just make it more stable, but once you decide to glue it inside of the journal, you can certainly get rid of that or just leave it and apply glue there and not worry about these. All right, so these two are done. Now with this one, I just want to decorate it a little bit further, like I've done here. And I still have some of those flowers. I've got the blue ones and the yellow ones, and I also have some pink lace. And yeah, I don't know, even here these would benefit from something in the center. Maybe I'll just try to see what they look like with these. A bit big, I think. Perhaps these ones, small pink ones, would look good. And put them once on one side and then on the other, and skip every second leaf. There. Just to have a little bit of movement going on instead of having them all in the center. And I'm just going to use the hot glue. I'm just waiting for it to warm up. I also have some buttons. Perhaps some buttons would look interesting as well. If you happen to have really small ones, that would be a nice decoration, wouldn't it? And while I'm waiting for the glue to warm up, I want to show you this. When I first saw Daniela's idea, I played a little bit with my flower punch, because I didn't have the one like she had, that sort of shape. I had this flower punch, and I played with paper scraps and just punched some flower shapes and then glue them onto some paper strips, and then draw and paint a little bit on top to create some interesting decorations. I even made like washi tape with this one, I think. Yeah. And I added a bit of a line drawing on top with my markers. This one as well, I like this one. It will look cool, I think, on the side of a journal. That one. Yeah, you can use your paper scraps really nicely with this one. And you don't even have to make them straight away. You can just go through your scraps and punch these flowers, put them in a jar and leave them, and then when you're bored or you lose your mojo, just make some of these decorative strips with flower shapes. Anyway, I think my glue is hot, so I'm just going to add a dot here. Just like that. I like that. Because it's my leaf journal, I want to have this decoration in here. I think it would look good. If I add another strip of something behind it, then I could turn it into like a belly band. But I think I want to have it flat like this here. Even on this side it would look good. But because this page is darker than that, it will balance it if I add something darker on this side. So now I just have to glue that. Perhaps I can just use the hot glue. Add a few dots like that. And some on the leaves. Even this one would look nice too. And that one would look better perhaps on a different color. Do I I have a pink paper somewhere. Yep. Something like that. Even this one. This one would look good there, I think. And I would probably put it like that. And I have a bit of a smudge here from the glue. I'd probably add something to cover it. Anyway, I would encourage you to check out Daniela's Facebook page. She's got some lovely journals there, lots of inspiration. And thank you so much. I hope you enjoy this, and I hope I see you soon in my next video. Bye for now.